Hi, my good people. How are you? I hope you're fine. Welcome to my space. And in today's episode, we are going to talk about making your money work for you. Let me start by asking, between you and your money, who is the boss? Like, do you have to wake up every day, work for you to have money? Or should something happen, say for example, you're not going to work for like a month, will you still be able to live the life that you're living currently or right now? So when we are talking about having your money working for you, we are talking about you being present in your money. You being intentional, having your money work for you, like you be the boss instead of you working for your money. So how is one going to do that? So I welcome you to be my guest in today's platform, that we are going to learn some of the little tips or very basic tips that one should start to embrace, or even if you've been working in these tips, how you can take it to the next notch. So they are basic tips, they are simple tips to do, but they require your focus, they require your presence, they require you to be disciplined. So number one thing, for you to have this transformation, to have your money working for you, whether you're sleeping, whether you're in your office, whether you're on vacation, that money is working for you. Like you do not have to wake up every day and go to your office to make sure you earn that living. So rather, you've sent your money out there and it's working for you all the time, day and night. So number one thing, basic thing that I want to start with is saving. Endless times I've spoken on this platform about paying yourself first. When we are talking about paying yourself first, we mean you've worked so hard, you have all these jobs that you're working and you've got your pay. After you got your pay, remember, from your pay, the government took its tax, and you are getting net of the amount you worked for from all the deductions, So it will be so unfair to yourself when you receive this net X amount of money and you end up spending everything, like consuming everything. So for you to be able to make your money work for you, you have to start by paying yourself first. When you pay yourself first, it means once you receive this money, you take a specific percentage, a specific portion of your income, and you set it aside as your saving. And this saving you're setting aside, it is what we are going to convert into investment. It's what we are going to convert into the goals that you do have, financial goals, like you want to start a business. This saving you're putting aside is what is going to fund your investments that you are going to set aside. Maybe you even have a passion, to do this specific thing that can, towards the future, it can generate you money. So the way to fund all these goals, the way to fund your future investments, you start by putting little portions of savings from your incomes on a regular basis, on intervals, like every time you receive your pay. Anytime you receive that check paying you, be conscious, be intentional to put a specific percentage or a specific an amount of money that is going towards funding your future investments. So that's number one thing to do. Now, number two tip, towards making your money, work for you, to make sure you become the boss, Number two thing is you start to convert your savings, your incomes into assets. Now, as you are saving on regular interval basis, you are funding your savings account. Now you get this savings money and you actually start making them to work for you. You start giving this money, this specific duty to start working for you. Like, for example, you can start by buying, if you do not have a specific business, if you have an idea that you want to fund, like, for example, a business, you start that business, and now that you do not have so much savings, you start at that very level that you're in. Start in a small way, start in a small way. And by so doing, it will enhance or allow you to start buying those things that are actually needed by the market or by your customers, rather than having millions of money in savings and you decide to go into business and you do like a stock worth of millions, So by so doing, you may even end up finding out that you have some huge amounts amounting to dead stock. But when you start in a small way with the little you have, you make sure to maximize and bring the products or the services that are actually needed by your immediate customers. Also, with these savings, you can start venturing into other opportunities that are out there that are profitable. Like, for example, you see a business venture, that you may want to partner in, a business that is doing well, that a business that have a future to grow, that has potential to grow in, to increase in equity, to increase in market share. You want to invest in such opportunities. And you do so by using the amount you saved. You make it to be an asset for you that towards the future, it is going to be paying you, incomes in terms of interest, in terms of dividends. If you invest in rentals or real estate, you get your rental income. So when I talk about converting your incomes into assets, I mean it's a continuous thing. It's not a one-off thing that we are doing one-off and you're like done. So as you continue to accumulate your savings, maybe every 6 months, maybe annually, maybe even on a monthly basis, depending, considering the amount that you are setting aside on these regular intervals. There's one thing that I really want to stress in here, that assets bring in money into our pocket, whereas liabilities, they draw money out of your pocket. Consider somebody getting this check of 20,000 Kenya shillings. And these two individuals, each receiving 20,000, one goes out there and starts a small business worth 20,000, Say even maybe they're selling something simple, at 20,000. Another person, with their 20,000, they go to an exotic boutique and they get themselves the best of outfit, that designer dress that you so much desired, So for these two people, yes, they've spent their 20,000 each, but for the two of them, like for the person who started this business, they have a potential to grow their business, and this business appreciates from 20,000 to 25,000 as they do business, taking all these other factors into account, like they're managing their business well. So I want to stress out that assets bring money into your pocket, whereas liabilities, they draw money out of your pocket. For example, somebody, even two people buying a car. One person is using this car to work or for business purposes, and this other person is using their car, to drive to work and go back to work, or even for their own personal use. For the person using this car for their personal use, it means every time they fuel this car, they go to get the money out of their pocket. But for the person using the same car for business purposes, it means the business they are doing is funding this vehicle, you know, it is facilitating, it is servicing the vehicle. So that's what I want to mean. So we are intentional where we put our money. So number 2, convert your incomes into assets, you know, as time goes by. So on a regular interval, you want to convert your incomes into assets. The next point, having good record keeping. You know, I cannot overemphasize on record keeping, you know, because should you start the business that we are talking about, you know, you have your business, it's doing well, you have loads of customers coming your way, you know, you are getting calls all left, right, and center for you to supply. So it means, by the look of things, your business is doing well. But in a nutshell, you know, how are you doing business-wise? And the only way for you to be able to ascertain how you're doing is through your records. In your records, you want to know how much you're worth, you know, business-wise. You want to know how much money do you owe out there to your creditors, you know? You want to know how much money do your debtors, how much money your money is out there that your customers are owing you. You know, you want to know how much you're earning. And the only way to be able to get all this information, you can only ascertain it if you're doing good record keeping. So we cannot assume this. You know, it doesn't matter how big or how small your business is, but we must be intentional about having our records, about having our books, you know. And it's not a nice thing to do because it's time consuming, but I want to emphasize that we ought to do good record keeping. If you're not good at it, you know, come out here, ask for help, you know, go learn. But you cannot afford, you know, to bury your head under the sun, like you assume that everything is going well just because you see customers flocking in your premises. You can only be able to make a decision as per your records. What are your records saying? You know, not only a bank account that is flowing in millions in dollars, you know, but you want to know specifically how are you doing, you know. So record keeping, we cannot overemphasize. You only make decision based on whatever your books are telling you. What are your margin profits? Do you need to expand? Do you even need to scale down because the expenses are very high? Or do you need to bring in a new machinery to make sure you minimize cost? All these decisions can only be made and can only be advised as per your books. This is what is going to advise you. Your lenders, your those people who lend you, the only way they can be able to extend money to your business, you know, to support your expansion, it can only be done as per advised by your records. Next thing that you want to do for you to make sure your money is working for you, you need to have a plan to get out of debt. Yeah, I said that. How much debt do you have? Maybe in your books. How much debt do you have that you took and you consumed? And now you have to work every day very hard to make sure you are paying back this money that maybe never even, you can't point out what you did with this money that you borrowed out there. So when I'm talking about having a plan, you know, to come out of debt, I want to mean like it is possible to have your business doing well, to have your business thriving without a coin in debt, you know. But if you're using debt, it's possible to use this debt to your advantage. Like you use this debt into your working capital and it helps you generate more money. But the final goal or the end goal in our head is to get to that point where you can be able to be self-sufficient. Like your sales, whatever you're making from your retained profits, you are able to plow it back and it finances your operations. At a personal level, it is possible, to work with whatever you're earning. And for you to be able to get or to reach to that point where you are able to work with your finances, if you're already in debt, have a plan, have a plan to come out of debt. And how do you come out of debt? By making sure you put your finances in order, and as you are continuing to pay the minimum installments that you agreed, you are also working behind the scenes, to make sure you're working towards creating that balance. And you can also be able to clear that debt with the saving that you've put up there as you continue to repay your monthly installment. And you have put aside some money in savings. As you continue to do this, the savings can equal the amount that you're owing in debt. And you decide to pay off that debt. And next time, the installment amount that you are paying to your lenders, plus the savings bit that you are putting aside, all this money can go towards your investments. So that's what I mean. If you're in debt, plan doing a debt detox. Call yourself. We want to cleanse from having portfolios of debt that is not working for us. But rather debt is not bad. If you take debt and you use it to your advantage, something I have done in the past, debt can help you come from one level to that other next level with proper utilization, as you're aware where you're investing this debt, as you're having good plan on how you are repaying back this money to your lenders. And I also want to emphasize that it is good to have a good credit history, a good credit records, have a good relationship with your lenders, with your bankers, So by so doing, should you need or get an opportunity and you need to inject more money into your business, if you're in their good books, they'll come through for you. So plan to come out of debt, do a debt detox. Plan, just like we detox, we want to shed off the excess baggage you're carrying. Also, debt is one of those. And you want to consider doing a debt detox and having a plan to come out of debt and be able to run your business, be able to run your empire with your earned resources. Next thing or next tip, budgeting. I know I'm on record on this platform talking about budgeting, and one more time I want to talk about budgeting. And when we are talking about budgeting, this is whereby we are talking about a plan, to spend the money we have earned. For you to have your money working for you, you got to be intentional. You got to plan how you're spending your money. You have to tell your money that you have to work for me, and you are going to work for me in this particular manner, by setting aside your savings, by being intentional where you're taking your money. You are intentional to put your savings here. You are intentional to pay that this amount of money it's going towards my debt repayment. I am going to live on this amount of money. So have a good plan of how you're spending your money. Remember, if you do not plan for your money, everybody else out there, they have planned for your money. You remember people coming hawking to you things that you even never planned to buy. By so doing, you avoid doing impulse buying because your money is already committed to your other projects. So you do not have spare money that's hanging on the air. So you want to have a plan on how you're spending your money. You want to be intentional to spend within your limits. You want to have a good track record of every coin, where every coin is going to, like you can be able to explain. And by so doing, after some amount of time, you can be able to check back and see a good track record that you are having, and you can be able to pat yourself on your back and say that this is a good step that I did take into account. So consider budgeting. By budgeting, you tell your money what to do, and as you do so, you increase even reduce on wastages, and you give your money to where you're getting more value. The other point on getting your money to work for you is by giving. Yeah, you heard me right. Giving. So if you want to be to increase financially, this money that is coming your way, you're supposed to use it to be a blessing. It is a blessing that has come your way from your maker. And I said that right. So, and you want to use the very money, to bless, to be a blessing. And by so doing, you do give. One, you give even to the work of God, and knowing that God is the one who have blessed you with all these resources. He is your source. He has given you an opportunity to earn, an opportunity to make money. He has blessed your hand to be able to be profitable. So you want to be a blessing to him, to his work. And we do so by giving 10% of your increase, of your income, and actually even from the word of God. It says, bring into the storehouse, bring into your the house of your maker 10% of your first fruit, first fruit. And by so doing, he says you serve God with your, you bring to your maker 10% of your income, and by so doing, your barns are going to be full. Who doesn't want their barns to be full? So we do so by supporting the work of God. We do so by doing charity work, like supporting somebody who is in need. And by so doing, you are lending to God. And remember, God does not want anybody to him to owe anybody. And by so doing, he will reward you by increasing you. So let's serve God with our resources, and as we surrender our resources also to him, he is going to make sure our barns are full. So if you give him more money, he give you more money. So those are some of the basic tips that should one implement them, you are going to see a reward of your good deeds, So in a flash, I said these few steps. Number 1, we start by saving. Number 2, we convert our incomes into assets. Number 3, you want to have a plan of how you are going to come out of debt. Next thing, you budget. Have a plan of how you're going to spend your income. Number 5, you want to be a giver. Be a giver. Serve God with your increase. And by so doing, you're getting your barns full. Those are some of the few tips that one can implement, and it makes all the difference. So one of the things that we are learning from these few steps or basic tips that I've put out there is that you got to be intentional. You got to be intentional that you are in check, you are in charge of your finances. Like also, the next thing, one has to be disciplined. For you to be able to get from one point to the next point financially, you got to be intentional and got to be very disciplined. And another thing, you have to be present. present in your finances. By so doing, you want to make sure if you take this step, you are conscious that I am doing this, aiming this higher goal. And by so doing, in your business, you are present to see how you're performing, to see your records, to be aware what is happening in your financial life. So thank you so much for being here. Consider liking this video, share it with your friends and family, and even let people know that we are here. We talk a way to our financial freedom, and you're most welcome. See you in the next episode.